Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for June 13th through the 19th, 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different. All right, so Sagittarius, this week we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to look at 4 key areas for you. One's going to be yourself. The next is going to be relationships, then your work, and then finances. These are the most often asked about areas, so we're going to look at it from that perspective, and then at the end, look at the overall view and sort of tie it all together. So starting with yourself, which is seen by your ruler, Jupiter. Jupiter, very slow-moving planet, still in your 9th house, which is about possibilities. It's about opening your mind, your worldview, maybe studying new philosophy, spirituality, whatever expands either your mind or really helps you tap into your adventurous spirit. This has been the overall theme, and you guys are learning a lot about yourselves this year with the North Node conjoining up to Jupiter. Now, in terms of relationships, we are going to have a shift here with relationships. Venus is going into your 7th house here on Friday. So up until that point, I think it's so good for you to, and I think it is actually all week because your ruler Mercury is in the 6th. So good to have this willingness to develop yourself. And that's what that whole new moon was. It was a willingness to challenge yourself with your self-development. And that might be with your routine, your regimens, your diet, your work perhaps. And with that development, it's actually improving your relationships. In fact, with your relationship ruler in the 6th, that's exactly what it's about, right? Having this willingness to help yourself improve and then help others improve if they're open to that. And through that, there's that constructive approach there. Now, Venus, though, shifting into your 7th on Friday onward, you'll probably notice a bit more of the lighter energy because the 6th house is a bit more, it's earthy, it's grounded. It's not the best place for relationship energy, right? It's about improvement, all that kind of stuff. But Venus in the 7th is actually very nice. This is more about the exchanges, enjoying the simple connections, and that sort of thing in the relationships. I think it's a great weekend for that, a little bit of a lighter side to that area. Now, in terms of your work life, this is going to be seen particularly by that Venus, in fact, which is in that 7th, so you'll probably find maybe it's a good time to cultivate your relationships at work. Okay, maybe it's about clients, could be on that level, could be coworkers, whatever it is. 6th house ruler in the 7th does indicate that shift. Now, up until that point, it's such a good time for you guys to cultivate your work this whole month. This is where the last lunar cycle was, in your 6th house of your daily work. And so you guys are learning a lot about it. There's a lot of exchanges, could be very busy for you at the moment. But continuing to challenge yourself. Where can you challenge yourself? Create some new beginnings. You have a much larger new beginning with your work in a yearly sense because these new moons are both on the short term of the 30 days, but also of the next 6 months to a year. So being patient with that. It is the Grand Cross, so it's about integration. But it could be even a high point in terms of these shorter term goals that maybe you've set off with your work at the end of this week. And I say that because we're going to have a full moon next Monday. All right, so as we approach the weekend, we're going to feel that higher energy, that cultivation of what could be a lot of this daily stuff for you. Now, in terms of the work with Mercury in the 6th house, because he does rule your 10th house of career, also going through improvement. Just being willing to improve your career and your work and remodify things, change things. That's what Mercury does best. Really analyzing it, seeing what maybe problems can be solved. What new ideas can be implemented into it to change it, to make it healthier in a sense, to really work on it and develop it and cultivate it. These are all things Mercury does best through the analyzing, through the willingness to work on it. So that's the career side of things and work. Now, in terms of the financial stuff, this is going to be seen by Saturn. This area, Saturn squaring up to Neptune this week. So there could be uncertainty. There could be doubts about the financial stuff if that's the case for you. This has been going on since November, and it's been helping us really establish more faith and trust, more acceptance about the life journey and to really be present in our life. So if that's the case with you financially, it's a good area to be present with, accept, understand there's a divine process, but still, work on yourself spiritually here. This is what this is all about. And you'll notice that is improving your financial area in some sense, whether it's through your meditation, your yoga, your alone time, working behind the scenes, whatever it is with Saturn in that 12, it's really helping you discipline and structure this area. and rethink maybe the financial stuff. This is all sort of in limbo at the moment, and it's just a good time to be present with it. And there could be some insight, coming in, because this is the second aspect with this. Like I said, it's been going on since November, so there could be a shift in you understanding more about, I don't know, going with the flow with it. Understand that things do come to you in that divine timing. All right, so now in terms of the overview, let's go ahead and see what we may have missed. We didn't cover yet. There's that Neptune. Neptune is going retrograde, and this is, an opening. And another thing, too, is with the information about your financial life, but just generally, there's this internalization with Neptune when he goes retrograde. So it's about really listening. And it's through the listening there can be clarity, in fact. All right, so I did just want to mention that. And it could even lift up a bit of haze about the financial stuff, interestingly enough, with Neptune retrograde. Venus squaring up to Chiron this week does suggest some healing taking place in the work sector and maybe with friends on Monday. So if you are feeling any doubts or insecurities about that, it's about accepting them. Doing that acceptance does lead to the healing and the transformation there with Chiron. Sun does sextile up to Uranus on Tuesday, so it could be a good day for mixing things up. Maybe your adventurous spirits, because the Sun does rule that 9th house. Could be something new and different there, maybe with the philosophy or spiritual studies, or maybe even with your work. Now, in terms of Wednesday, the Sun then does square up to Chiron, so those areas with your work and with your adventurous spirit, maybe doing some acceptance there. And that could lead to that healing and rejuvenation on Wednesday in particular. Then on Friday, Saturday, that's when we have that Saturn squaring up to Neptune, and then the full moon on Monday of next week. Now, that full moon is going to be in your sign. All right, so as we approach this weekend, there's a lot of this awareness about yourself, about a lot of the things maybe you set off to achieve or to cultivate 6 months ago, could be coming to a high point. And more than likely with a full moon here, there's a status check. Some things are being let go, some things are being cultivated with yourself. What's working, what's not? This is the sort of things you want to ask yourself, and continue to go with what's working, let go of what's not, and then you can continue to cultivate all these things relating to yourself, your independence, your goals, which is coming to a high point here at the end of the week. All right, so Sagittarius, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.